Welcome to the Aspire 41 Lounge, Schiphol Airport, Amsterdam. Schiphol Airport only has a few lounges, so the ones that are there can get very busy. Some issues that priority pass holders have had is that when the lounge gets very crowded, they weren't permitted in or put on a waiting list, as well as sometimes allowing business and first class travelers entry before them, so keep that in mind. Here's a little backstory on our day. We had about an 8-hour layover in Amsterdam coming from Berlin. We planned on leaving the airport to meet a friend for lunch in Amsterdam, but we found out it was a few-hour wait just to get into the airport, so we thought it'd be best just to stay at the airport. And we also found out later that our flight was delayed and our plane had to be swapped for mechanical issues. And to make matters worse, I had the quadruple S on my boarding pass. And if you don't know what that means, you're very lucky. And if you do know what that means, you know it can be a little bit of a headache. It stands for Secondary Security Screening Selection. So we headed to the lounge to relax and grab a drink, or 3. Just follow the signs to the Aspire 41 Lounge. Fortunately, on this day when we arrived, it wasn't that crowded, so we got in right away, and the staff at the front desk was very courteous and kind. Let's take a look at the space. It was a wide open room, a little bit longer than wider, with very modern decor. I know some people who don't really care for the open room design in lounges. They say it lacks privacy, but that didn't really bother me. Even though the lounge was pretty crowded, it still felt like I had my own space. Plus, they had different seating arrangements throughout the lounge for either singles, couples, groups, or families. They even had a coat rack, which was unoccupied. Well, it was a rather warm day. And they had a rather sparse magazine book rack, as well as the departure boards. I believe these were the only ones they had in the lounge. They also had a nice little living room set up with couches and TV. But we found our own little haven in the corner by the window, where Lily caught up on some messages and enjoyed her wine, and I secured this nice, comfortable seat in the corner, where I could enjoy the view. Let's talk about the food and drinks. They had one coffee machine on an island in the center of the lounge, and there was another one set aside in a section in the corner. Someone had told me that sometimes they section off a part of this lounge for specific airlines. They didn't do it this day. Seeing this sign leads me to believe that they might do this on occasion, but if you know for sure, please mention it in the comments. This lounge did not have serve-to-order food. It was set up buffet style, and first on the buffet line was a soup station, and the soup was quite tasty. Next up, you had some chips, crackers, and snacks, and then you had a small assortment of breads, and a pasta station, which I enjoyed a portion or two, and they had a small salad station. And I always enjoy some fresh fruit, even though they only had 2 options today. Let's move on to the beverages. In addition to the coffee and water, they had a few other non-alcoholic options. Here was their bar area. They had a few selections of reds and a couple of chilled whites. And here is their alcohol section with a few mixers. Yes, I know it's not a large selection, but if you really needed something to drink, I'm sure you could find something among these choices. And if you weren't in the mood for liquor or wine, how about a fresh Heineken on tap? Now, I'm not a big fan of Heineken in the bottle or can, but the draft, I kinda like. So I had a few, and then made it back to my corner and enjoyed my meal with a view. Now let's take a look at the bathrooms and showers. They had 2 showers in this lounge for a fee. I believe it was 17 euros and 50 cents. Here's a look at the entrance to the bathrooms. Let's take a quick look inside the men's room. The bathrooms were fairly clean and followed a modern design. Basically, all I'm looking for in a bathroom in a lounge is something that's clean and well stocked. And this one was. Moving on to the Wi-Fi and charging. Even though I didn't see any USB ports, I saw plenty of AC outlets. At first, when I looked around, I didn't think there were many outlets, but then I noticed they placed them in some creative spots for your convenience. So just look around and you'll find one. I also did 2 tests on the lounge Wi-Fi. The Wi-Fi was consistent and the speeds were good. For my needs, it worked just fine. Let's take a look at the view from the lounge. Now, some lounges don't have windows, so I do appreciate the ones that do. The lounge had a big window that stretched just about the length of the room, with a great view of the planes and the runways, and a great spot to get a drink, put up my feet, and wait for my next flight. Some final thoughts. I thought the Aspire 41 lounge was a nice respite from a hard day of traveling. Personally, I wouldn't consider this a first-class lounge, and I wouldn't pay to get in, but if you're getting in with your Priority Pass card, in my opinion, I still think it's a better option than sitting in general population. Okay, they didn't really have a great selection of food and drink, but the place was clean and the service was good. I hope this helps you on your next trip to Schiphol Airport. Safe travels. For more insights, tips, and info into all your travel moves, stay tuned and subscribe to our channel.